The final boss, Chapter 1, the beginning of the end. Main quest, part pre-reborn. Even if she would never ever admit it, Sawada Tsuneyoshi was aware that she had brought everything onto herself. With that being said, if she ever got the chance to go back in time, well, that time, Suna would have never let her younger and decidedly male self get to guess video games. After all, Suna was no good Suna, and geez, she should have known that it would have been impossible for her to play video games like a normal kid. In fact, if our darling main character had known in advance what was going to happen to her because of her almost neat-like nature, Suna might just be inspired enough to give herself a total makeover before basing her personality on Hibari's. Really. In the very least, she would have burned every single video game in the world. It all started in 20XX, when Suna had just turned 13. Coincidentally, I should have known there was no coincidences with me. Suna moaned as her trusty right hand patted his drunk boss in sympathy many years later. 20XX marked the release of the hottest game of the year. Suna, lonely with too much time on his hands and too little unread manga, spent months preparing for this moment by squirreling away almost all of his allowance into his piggy bank. It would have been his first time playing a game like that, but even his classmates who thought that video games were nerdy gossiped about it endlessly. Suna had also finished numerous manga series, and with his summer vacation coming up, he needed something to keep himself entertained. Thus, the game had been bought and played. Well, needless to say, the game had been fantastic. Suna fell in love. He began to use most of his money to buy more games. They used up time, and he didn't feel as lonely. The characters in the game were interactive because of their AI programming, and were even friendly. Suna became as addicted to video games as he had been with manga. Even to this day, Suna curses herself for having too much time on her hands. 6 months after Suna discovered the lovely world of video games, the boy had already completed a staggering amount. He lived and breathed RPGs to the point where he could recite all the stats of his most recent character without any hesitation. Thus, Suna was not surprised when he went to sleep one day and opened his eyes to a menu screen. Kiriko Hitman Reborn. Start. Help. After all, with how much his world revolved around his favourite pastime, it wouldn't be shocking if the games even had an impact on his life, on his subconscious. Suna brightened, giddy with slight happiness once he realised he could even play video games in his dreams now. He lightly tapped the start button when it became clear that the help button was not an option. Immediately, Suna's surroundings shifted before everything froze. Blinking in surprise, the boy let out a small shriek when a warning screen suddenly popped up in front of his face. Warning, male character has not been unlocked. Proceed as a female, yes or no. Suna blinked again. Before shrugging, he had played quite a few games with a female lead, to be completely honest, and they weren't bad at all. He didn't mind having a female character, and after all, this was just a dream. With his mind made up, Suna tried pressing the Y button. Nothing happened. Furrowing his brows, Suna cleared his throat to try saying the command. Yes. Jackpot. His surroundings dissolved in the darkness, quickly bled away. And then Suna woke up. Chan! Su-chan! Wake up, sleepyhead! Sawada Nana's cheerful voice broke through the mist that surrounded Suna's head. Wait, when did his mother call him Su-chan? Opening his eyes reluctantly, Suna rubbed his greedy eyes before aiming a pound at his mother. Geez, calling him Su-chan. Sukon would have been embarrassing enough at the age of 13, and not to mention his mother woke him up when he was having such a nice dream. Suna froze and blinked. He rubbed his eyes again before taking another look. He pinched himself. Nope, the weird glowing screen above his mother's head was still there. Suna could feel his sleepiness melt away immediately as his head filled with sudden clarity. Sawada Nana, level 28. His dream. Oh my gosh. Suna paled when he remembered a certain part of the dream and rushed to the bathroom. No. But of course, trouble always followed Suna like a magnet. His whoops, is it her now? Scream, high-pitched and feminine, rang throughout their whole neighbourhood. Suna spent a week huddled in his room before he mucked up enough courage to assess his situation. Luckily, his mother had thought that he was sick, and honestly, Suna spent days cooped up in his room playing video games, so it isn't really something different. Okay, 1. His normal life seemed to turn into a real video game. 2. He was now a she. To be honest, Suna didn't know what was more horrifying. Sure, his sex suddenly changed, and the funny thing was apparently his mother didn't see anything wrong with that. But Suna now had floating screens popping up everywhere. Floating, glowing screens. What was wrong with him? Did Suna piss off some deity in his past life or something? Taking in deep breaths, the preteen closed his eyes. He could do this. Suna played enough video games to know how they worked better. Remembering how he had to say his commands out loud in his dream, which turned out to not be a dream in the first place. Suna took in a deep breath and prayed that his sanity would hold. Who knows, maybe the float mode around his mother was a fluke. Pause, profile, stats, menu. Never mind. It seemed like the fourth time with the charm. Suna watched in horrified silence as the colour began to bleach out of his surroundings before an orange screen, what the heck, popped up in front of him. Main menu, status, quests, skills, characters, inventory, clothes. Suna pinched himself. Nope, he wasn't dreaming this time. Suna buried his head in his arms and made some dying animal noises sounds. Really? Why was the universe always out to get him? Status, Suna said after he spent a few minutes lamenting over his past life choices. The teen watched with wide eyes, the letters on the menu screen pixelated before rearranging itself into new words. Status, name, Swada Tsunayoshi. Class, no good. Level 2, 1000 experience. Next level, affiliation, number Mori. HP, 150. FP, 150. Strength, 1. Vitality, 3. Dexterity, 2. Intelligence, 1. Luck, 1. Agility, 3. Status, question mark. Points, 0. Swada Tsunayoshi is a student of Namamori Middle School. She is often bullied and is named No Good Suna because of her sheer clumsiness. However, Suna has an interesting future in store for her. Close. Ouch, Suna muttered as he eyed his intelligence. His stats were quite pathetic, and his class, no good, was actually a class. What? His luck, strength, and intelligence were his lowest stats. I won again. Ouch. On the other hand, his dexterity was a 2. Maybe it was from playing his video games, while both his agility and vitality was at 3. Well, then again, he did have to run away from bullies and would take beatings quite often. Taking a closer look, Suna frowned. His status was completely covered in question marks, and what the heck was FP? Was that supposed to be like MP? But if MP stood for mana points, then what did the F stand for? Shaking his head, Suna closed his status and opened his quests. A new window popped up. Quests, current quests, quest history, close. Suna blinked. Since he had just started this game, it would be weird if he had already completed quests. With that in mind, Suna chose the first option. Cue more glowing screens. Current quests. Main quest. Pre-reborn. Enjoy your normal daily life while it lasts. Pre-reborn? What the heck did that mean? A normal? Suna fought against the urge to giggle hysterically. He has glowing screens popping out of everywhere. His body turned into a girl's. His life had been turned into an RPG game. If that counted as normal, well, then Suna really feared for the future. With nothing more to look at, Suna opened his skills this time. His quest screen was promptly replaced with a skills empty. That was rather insulting. Understandable, since his life had just turned into a video game, and Suna admits that he did absolutely nothing in the week that followed that discovery, but still insulting. Closing his skills, or that lack of thereof, Suna opened his characters page. This one proved to be more fruitful. Characters, Swada Nana, level 28, question mark. Reputation, friendly, 600 out of 1,000. Swada Nana is Suna's mama. She's a good mother, if a bit ed-headed at times. Question mark. Suna frowned. His mother's level was much higher than his. Was that why there were so many question marks? And his reputation with her mother. Why on earth were they only on a friendly stage? Did his own mother think so little of him? Cyanide thoughts. Suna closed the screen to choose the last option on the menu. Bam! A giant chest magically appeared out of thin air and he slammed in his face. Suna screeched, then jumped back. A mirror appeared on the chest, reflecting his body. Floating screens appeared in his reflection. Plain pajama shirt, minus 5% agility, minus 5% luck. Plain pajama pants, minus 5% agility, minus 5% luck. Fuzzy slippers, minus 10% agility. Okay, at least his pajamas were comfortable. Taking a cautious step forward, Suna reached out slowly and opened a drawer and took a peek inside. There was nothing in there. Suna hummed in surprise. He had a lot of clothes in his closet. Perhaps he had manually put them in a magic flying chest, or inventory, for it to stay there. And also, how did you get rid of the inventory? There was no close button or anything. Suna whimpered. It was time for round 2 of the guessing game. Daily quest alert. Quest, what colour was your floor again? Your room has become too messy. Clean it up in 20 minutes before you go to eat breakfast. Completion reward 100 XP, 10 rep with anyone who enters your room within the month. Completion failure 5 minus 5 rep with anyone who enters your room within the month. Yes or no? This was insulting. Why was this game so insulting? Suna had only tripped 3 times since he got up this morning. Stop laughing. After he lugged the chest around, tried throwing it out the window, and tried punching it to smithereens, minus 2 HP. Ow! Suna figured out that the only way to get rid of it was to open another window. That was terrible game mechanics. Could Suna file a complaint? During that time, Suna had stumbled over his various manga and loose pieces of homework. By the time he managed to get rid of his inventory, the blue man window with his first quest suddenly popped up. Suna frowned. He's going to decline, but his mother would enter his room within the month for sure. Getting more reputation with his mother would be nice. Suna rolled up his sleeves. Yes, quest accepted. Quest accepted. 3, 2, 1. The digits 20 00 appeared in the air. Suna blinked in surprise as it began to count down before hardly began cleaning his room. Manga was put back onto the shelves, paper was piled neatly on the desk, dirty clothes were thrown into the laundry basket while the bread was properly made. By the time the countdown reached 0, Suna was pooped. Cleaning his room was not something he had expected when he got up this morning. Quest completed. Quest, what color was your floor again? You cleaned up your room in 18 minutes. Completion reward 100 XP. Bonus award 100 XP plus 50 XP per minute left on the timer. Suna shook his head as he gathered his clothes, ready to make a trip to the shower. Quests were weird. Apparently, time froze whenever he opened his menu. Thanks to this, Suna came down for breakfast bright and early. His mother looked up in surprise. Oh, Suchan, you got up early today. Do you feel better? Nana smiled brightly, and Suna couldn't help but smile back. Yes, Mama. Sorry for worrying you. Suna picked at the hem of his clothing.